The fact that it's so customizable, so that if you just have a few empty or bare spots, that can be filled in, and it's going to blend in with the rest of your brow.
Yeah, so typically whenever I am doing my strokes, I'll look at the natural growth pattern of the natural hair or brow strokes, and just follow right along with it and create density and kind of define the natural brow.
It's on YouTube.
What kind of upkeep is required to have this when you have this done?
Usually, it really depends on the person. If they have more oily skin, or they use a lot of product that has like a vitamin A derivative, something like that in it, that's going to speed up that cellular turnover, or need more exfoliation, something like that, it's obviously going to make that pigment come out a little bit quicker. So you want to keep those kind of products away from the brow area. But as far as upkeep goes and maintenance, usually people need a touch-up every year. Some people might need it sooner than that. So people with like oily skin, that sort of thing, might need a touch-up beforehand. Or if you're like super you know, picky about your brows and you notice like when 1 or 2 strokes might be gone, you might come in more often.
And the initial process itself is really a 2-step process, isn't it? What you're doing this evening will have to be touched up within a 2 to 4 week period?
Yes, yeah, 2 to 4 weeks.
Now, how will it look like the day after? What's the healing process, Emily?
The healing process is that you will, you'll be kind of maybe crusty for the first week, but it still looks natural. Now they will appear darker than what they're going to be. A lot of people kind of get a little nervous when they first see them because they feel like they're too dark, but once that skin heals over the pigment in the brow, then you get a lighter look to them.
And it just kind of blends in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And how long does it normally take to do a full set?
Are you talking about like what
Right.
I'm doing now?
Mm-hmm.
Usually it takes about 30 minutes to numb and about 40 minutes for me to actually blade, depending on the person. If they have like no brows and I'm creating a whole new brow, then it might take a little bit longer.
And this is one of those things where you have to be somewhat artistic, like you said, following that natural brow line.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then you have to also watch how the
So for those with allergies, we would need to know that I had maybe come up with a different way to numb.
only putting in a few strokes, but you want to be numbed. And it feels like I've had a lot more clients complain more about the sound of it than the actual feel. Now,
sensation.
So I went with a to kind of mimic. It is to
Want to make sure that you're keeping that area covered with something that doesn't to enter it. So usually we wrap over your entire face. You just put, once they heal and the process is done, turnover faster, is to wear down the results and your results. Retinols, glycols, any of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's big dermal level. I mean, to take a bunch of ibuprofen, any kind of alcohol consumption.
So someone that's on a lot of blood, they may have to realize that they're wrong.
Right.
Or they just may not be the perfect candidate for this
Correct.
process at all. Desiree, if I get Botox or Dysport, does it affect the brows in any way? What is your suggestion there?
It is if you are thinking about getting your brows done and you normally do employ a neuromodulator like Botox or Dysport, you definitely want to get that done first, because as we know, we can raise brows and alter the arch or the shape simply by placing those toxins in. So definitely go ahead and make sure that your product, your Botox or your Dysport is fairly new. You don't want to be towards the end of times when you're needing a touch-up, because otherwise you may find that your arch is raised a little bit more or dropped a little lower than you intended. In most cases, the artistry or what she is creating is so minimal that that's not an issue. But if Emily's going in and creating a brand new brow to someone that really has no shaping, it's pretty critical to get that forehead placement exactly where you need it beforehand. I personally have not noticed a huge difference with mine, having had my brows done, but it can change the shape slightly.
That's why it's so important to map out and figure out where the natural brow would be, because it will end up moving with your forehead like a natural brow.
And that's also why that for some people they may not understand that this is really a natural look and you're trying to achieve a natural look. You really can't go above or beyond that natural arch that's there, even if there doesn't seem to be any hair there. Is that correct, Emily?
Yeah. I can make it thicker, and I have made it thicker, but if you're wanting to do like, you don't want to use this as a brow lift option, because then it just won't, if I put the brow higher than what you're wanting it to naturally be, it's not going to move naturally with the face.
How you doing, Carrie?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's the sensation is just very, very, very mild. You really can't feel much of anything, so.
Emily, can you explain what you're doing when you stop and use the little brush?
So the little brush, I am basically blading in pigment and then going in and putting more pigment into those little incisions that I've made into the skin. So she bled a little bit over on this side. And some people, like with anything, we have one side of our face that is more sensitive than the other. So this side, her, what would that be? Right side. Didn't hardly bleed at all. This one bled just a slight bit. Nothing crazy though.
I'm going to close up on you, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that pigment will come off after we've cleaned.
Oh no, she's gonna walk around here like ever.
Have caterpillar on. It's not winter yet, guys.
The funny thing is the pigment, if it's not embedded on the skin or just resting on the surface of the skin, it's completely water soluble. It just wipes off with water.
Which is what I'm doing now. I'm just kind of wiping away any excess pigment. And since Carrie has such a thick brow naturally, sometimes that pigment can get kind of lodged into the hair. So you kind of have to gently push it away.
Mm-hmm.
Doing okay?
I'm doing great.
And I just saw a question pop up on Facebook. It has been answered, but for those of you that are just maybe listening to the audio, the question was how much the surface actually will cost, right now we're running our introductory specials, which will be ending soon, but for today, it's $300. That $300 is going to get you your initial visit and then your follow-up in the 2 to 4 week period. Now, if you purchase this evening, we're also going to give you that with the $300. We're going to give you our Grande Lash Serum. It's a 3-month supply. It helps to extend the life cycle of the growing cycle of the hair of the lashes. And it gives you beautiful long lashes. If you're looking at close-ups of Emily, Emily uses it every day. Her lashes are phenomenal. She has no primers or artificial inserts in right now. It's completely natural, so you don't have the side effects of a drug such as Latisse, which does require prescription. You don't have to worry about it changing the color of the eyes. You don't have to worry about it giving you raccoon eyes like some of the other products do. But it's a great product, so you can have gorgeous brows and beautiful lashes all at the same time.
Yeah, I've had lash extensions before, and they were absolutely stunning, but I was a terrible candidate for it because I picked them all out. They're looking awesome. Your
Oh,
arch looks
great. I
phenomenal.
can't wait to see.
I'm excited for you to see them.
I'm tired of penciling in my brows every day.
Well, and it's just
So-
like we talked about before getting started. Like, this is not a powder brow look. This is a stroke kind of, natural hair brow look. And so,
But the powdering technique could always be used for a touch-up, like moving forward, if I wanted that look.
there are ways that you can maneuver
Okay.
with that. But I don't do that one. I like to do the...
I think the biggest benefit, it is, like Emily stated, it is this very natural look. So for somebody like myself who doesn't wear a natural look every day, that likes the powder brow look, I love the fact that I can get up and go without anything. Emily's filled my brows in to the point to where I don't have to wear makeup. But if I choose to enhance it for special occasions, I have that option and that versatility. I'm not locked into one look. And as you can see, she's cleaning that off. Carrie will be able to get up, go out the door, and really nobody will know that she's had any type of procedure done.
It's amazing.
Maybe turn your head just slightly.
Emily, how did you make your color choice this evening?
I really look at a bunch of different things. I look at the coloring in the skin tone, the hair, the color of the hair, and the natural brow. I always want to know if they have tinted the brows, and if they do regularly, because I want to know if their brow hairs are what they normally are, like the color of them. So I try to blend as best as I can, and we have several color options, and I just kind of, usually I make a mark on the forehead and kind of pick one, but some people I can just look at and know you're that, just by the color of their skin and that sort of thing.
How many shade selection?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
At least 10, and then they can all be intermixed.
So
I'd
you
say
do
at least
truly
15.
customized.
We have quite a few. Plus we have a lightener and a darkener, so if we need to darken it up a little bit or lighten it up, we can. So like I've had a couple people come back for their touch-up and go, well, can we do it like a shade darker? And I'm like, yeah, and pop a little darkening.
We also have a gray that even if they want to keep and maintain, if their brows are gray, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have like a graphite. Obviously, white is not going to be an option. But we also offer brow tinting here. So like we have some people that I might put in the shade that they're wanting, but they can still see like the grays and whites, and it might even bring them out to the point where they find that they really need the tinting in order for them to dense enough and that sort of thing. Well, she can speak. Yeah, because right now we're just kind of waiting. Yeah.
We actually have somebody here in-house that wants to ask a question.
Do you want to record her, please? You can record her voice.
I was wondering if the, when you do the microblading, the actual blade, does it cut?
Lose like, I think the most I've lost in the brow hairs is maybe like 2 or 3, something like that. Like I've lost like 3 of Carrie's. Like that. It almost acts like a little comb.
It's a series of pins, and they actually refer to them like it has so many pins or needles, so it's not a single blade.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe steam, but it's so mild. Yeah.
It's from over the top of these. Pain
The
reduce.
thing is to keep that protective barrier.
And were they looking cool?
I know they're going to be. I'm thrilled.
Thank you, Carrie. Commentator.
That was like a bee, and there weren't that many strokes.
So excited that you got that on YouTube too, because your camera would be better than mine, because I was really shaky. I was trying not to be.
It didn't look bad though, because I was watching it was okay.